this is Eric Thompson. I am president of Peerless Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor headquartered in Columbus, Ohio. Thanks as always for tuning in. This one's called The Insane Math of Starting Early. And this is really directed at maybe someone in their 20s or possibly 30s. And so let's get into it. This really gets into compound interest. And in fact, Albert Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And I remember my grandpa, he admitted to not even knowing how compound interest worked until he was into his 60s and was kind of frustrated that he didn't take advantage of it earlier. But essentially it's a snowball effect. It's gains on gains, right? If you have $1,000 and you make 10% on it in a year, it gets to 1,100. But then you make 10% on the 1,100. So you've made $110 the second year. And then you make 10% on that, right? So it compounds. And it takes a while, but once it really starts to accumulate, very much like a snowball rolling down a mountain, it's really, it can get pretty insane. It's, if you make 10% on $100,000, you made 10 grand, and that feels great. But, if you make 10% on $1 million, now you've made 100,000. Same investment, just bigger gains, but you got to get it to $1 million. So I'm going to illustrate the importance of starting early. And one of the things I always tell clients is it's time in the market, not timing the market. People spend a lot of unnecessary attention on trying to time it, right? When's the right time to get in? When's the right time to get out? When really it's about time. Just invest regularly and begin it for long enough. And so I'm going to go through an example of three investors, and we're going to call it person A, person B, and person C. And the first person, all of them invest $500 a month, and they invest $500 a month all the way up to age 65. All of them have an investment that produces 7% return every year. And nothing will guarantee 7%. The long-term average of the S&P 500 is actually greater than that. It's closer to 10%. But for this illustration, we'll use 7. The difference is when they start. Person A starts investing at 25 years old. $500 a month all the way till age 65. Their total contribution, as shown below the pie chart, is $240,000. Because $500 a month times 12, $6,000 a year, times 40 years, they put $240,000 in. But they've made $995,000 in interest, and their total portfolio is $1,235,000 and change. Pretty good. Person B, same thing, but they wait 10 years. They start at age 35. And this is very common, right? In your 20s, you're kind of getting things going. Maybe you have some student loans. You're trying to maybe buy a house, maybe start a family. So it's tough. But look at the difference. The person starting at age 35, from age 35 to 65, they put $500 a month in. They've invested a total of $180,000. They made $404,000 interest. They have $584,726. So less than half. They invested almost as long, right? 30 instead of 40 years, but they have less than half the balance. And it's because the way compounding works. And the last one is person starts at age 45. They put a total of $120,000 in. They've earned $133,000, and they've grown it to $253,768. So you can see that's really a huge difference if you start early. That's a difference between what I say in retirement, fishing for fun and fishing for food. And person A that started early is going to be fishing for fun. Person C, well, I don't know about fishing for food, but it might be pretty close. So start early. Oh, and one other statistic, person B, back to the one that starts at 35. You might be thinking, oh, well, I'll just invest more when I'm older and I'll catch up. Well, maybe, but you probably have to invest more than you think. And I ran the numbers on this. If person B that starts at 35, if they wanted to catch person A and have $1,235,000 at retirement, they'd have to invest $1,056 a month, more than double, just because they waited, 10 years to start. So it's a lot easier to just start early. So the best way to do that for a young person, first off, see if your employer offers a 401k. Most do, and most of them have matching. Matching is free money. You put 500 in, they'll put, if they match 50 cents on the dollar, they might give you 250 on your 500. So you get an immediate return. That's the best place to start. Second to that would be a Roth IRA, which I can set up for clients. And those work great because all the money's tax-free at the end. And within that 401k, within that Roth IRA, we can pick investments like a diversified stock fund, an index fund, those types of things to get you that long-term growth, to really take advantage of this compounding. This takes patience, this takes time. The biggest mistake I see is maybe people start doing this and then they have a setback and they stop, they pull money out, they get nervous because of the market. Just try to avoid those things. It'll work. I'm an example. I have clients that are examples. But I really think this illustrates the power of compounding and the insane math of starting early. So I'll end it there. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.